Now let's talk about the objectives E, about the addition and the subtraction of the fraction. So first, let's check the addition and the subtraction with the same denominator. Let's check the property here. If A over B plus C over B. So here we check A over B and C over B, they have the same denominator, right? So first situation is the same denominator. We keep the same denominator B here. We just use B as our denominator. But for the numerator, we do the addition, A plus C. Okay, of course, here B is not equal to 0. The subtraction is very similar to the addition. Here we still have the same denominator B, so we just use B as our denominator. But for the numerator, we do the subtraction. Same thing, B is not equal to 0. So this case is easy one because they have the same denominator. So here we want to see same denominator. Okay, let's check the example. First, let's try the addition. With same denominator. Here 2 over 7 plus 4 over 7. 7 is our common denominator. So we just write 7 as our denominator. Then for the numerator, we do the addition. So here we do the addition, right? And we will get 6 over 7. Let's try another one. We can try 3 over no. Okay, 2 over 10 plus 3 over 10. Okay, we realize 10 is the common denominator. So we just keep 10 and do the addition with our numerator. So our answer will be 5 over 10, but it's not the simplest form. So 5 over 5 times 2. We write 10 into 5 times. So here we can cross out the 5, but it's not a 0 over 2, it's 1 over 2, right? Now we check the subtraction with same denominator. We check 5 over 3 minus 1 over 3. Because we have the same denominator 3. So we keep 3 as our denominator. But for the numerator, we do the subtraction. 5 minus 1. So we just have 4 over 3 as our answer. Let's try another one. This time 9 over 7 minus 2 over 7. Again, these two fractions have same denominator. So we keep this denominator, 7. But for the numerator, we do the subtraction. 9 minus 2. So we get 7 over 7, which is just 1. Remember the properties with 0 and 1. A over A is equal to 1. So 7 over 7 is equal to 1. So this is the first part, the addition and the subtraction with the same denominator. Of course, most of the time, we do the addition and the subtraction with the different denominator. So first, we should make them to be the same denominator. Let's check this example. This time, we want to do the addition with different denominator. In this example, we realized the first fraction has 5 as the denominator, the second one is 4. So first, we should make them to be the equivalent fractions with the same denominator. So, which means we should find the least common denominator. So for 5 and 4, we will get 20 as the least common denominator. So we should switch our 2 over 5 as an equivalent fraction with the least common denominator 20. So we do times 4 to both denominator and the numerator. Of course, we should switch 1 over 4 to another equivalent fraction with the same denominator 20. So here 4 times 5, we will get 20. So we do the same thing. Now we can get 8 over 20 plus 5 over 20. Now we just to do with the same kind of question, the addition with the common denominator. This time, 20 is our common denominator. And for the numerator, we just do the addition, and we will get 13 over 20. So the most important part is here. We should find the equivalent fractions with the same denominator. So that means we should find the least common denominator for these two fractions. And for these two, the denominator 5 and 4, we know the least common denominator will be 20. So we just first change our fraction into the equivalent fraction. Then we can do the addition. Don't forget this step. This is the most important part. Okay. Of course, we can try another example. Do the subtraction. It's also very similar to the addition with different denominator. So in this example, we realize 6 and 12 are not the same number. So the denominator is different. So we need to get the least common denominator. And for 6 and 12, we realize 12 is our common denominator. So we do this step. 6 times 2, we can get 12. So we will do the same thing for the numerator, also times 2. Okay, So 12 is already our least common denominator, so we do not need to do any action. So for the first one, we will get 12 as our new denominator. So we switch 19 over 6 to 38 over 12. So they are equivalent. And the minus 23 over 12. Then we just do the same action as the subtraction with common denominator. We keep the common denominator 12, and for the numerator, we do the subtraction. So we will get 15 over 12, but please be careful here. 15 and 12, they have common factor. So we can write like this. So we need to simplify our answer. We will get 5 over 4 is our final answer. So this is for objective E. In this objective, we have two parts. The first part, we need to do the addition and the subtraction with the common denominator, right? But for the second part, we do the subtraction and addition with different denominator. If the denominator is not the common one, we need to use the least common denominator as the new denominator. Then try to switch the fraction to the equivalent fraction first. After that, we can do the subtraction or addition. So last objective will be objective F. We should work on the operations. Operations on mixed number. So, for example, if we have this mixed number 3 and 1 over 5, we can write it as 3 plus 1 over 5. Right? So that will be, we change the whole number into an equivalent fraction with the common denominator with the second fraction, because the second fraction is 1 over 5. So 5 is the denominator. So we switched 3 as, because we want this to have the same denominator. So we switch 3 into 15 over 5. Now we can do the addition. We keep common denominator 5 and do the addition with numerator 15 plus 1. So we get 16 over 5. Of course, you can write the shortcut version. So that will be, we keep the denominator 5 and just do 3 times 5. We just use this number times the denominator. We get the same answer. Do the multiplication. 3 times 5, 10 plus 1. We will get, this is the shortcut version. They are just the same meaning. Okay. So with the mixed number, we first change the mixed number to the fraction. Okay, then we can do the operations. So let's check an example. This time we want to do the division with mixed number. So first step, we need to change the mixed number to a fraction. So for this one, we keep the denominator and do the shortcut version. 2 times 8 plus 1 divided by 3. We still keep the denominator, but 1 times 3 plus 2. Okay, so that will be 7 over 8 divided by 5 over 3. So remember, it's just like a fraction divided by another fraction is just like times the reciprocal of it. So we do the multiplication. The numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. After that, we will get 51 over 40. So we can just leave the answer like that. Let's check another example. The addition with mixed number. Okay, this time we want to do the addition. We still need to do the same thing. Switch our mixed number into the fraction. So we keep 8 as our denominator and do the shortcut version. 1 times 3 plus 2. So we will get 17 over 8 plus 5 over 3. So it's not the multiplication, so we cannot do 8 plus 3 or 17 plus 5 because the denominator is not the same. And we are doing the addition, so we need to find the least common denominator. For 8 and 3, we realize it's 24. So we will change our fraction to an equivalent fraction with the least common multiple. So we times 3 to get 24 for the first fraction, and for the second fraction to get 24 as our denominator, we need to times 8 for both denominator and numerator. So after that, we will have 51 over 24 plus 40 over 24. Now we have the common denominator. We can keep the common denominator. Then 51 plus 40. Okay, finally we can get 91 over 24 as our result.